Hey guys, I have, oh my goodness, some of the funniest stories to share with you guys. And of course, you see where I am. I'm in my truck out in a parking lot again. I tried to film inside of my house, and there was so much energy. It was so fast that it was horrible. I mean, I put the lights on nice and bright and everything too, but it didn't help. It was just way too much energy in the house. And of course, it's been pouring down rain every day this week except for today. Today is Friday, so wanted to let you guys know what's going on. If you're new here, welcome. I take lots and lots of pictures of all these different dimensional beings. And I used to not tell people about some of this other crazy stuff, but now thank you, Stephen Greer, for opening the door and for people to start looking at these interdimensional people. So now I tell everybody my funny stories too, because I'm telling you what, this one, I got a couple doozies from this past couple of weeks. Oh my goodness. I'll start out with the funny one that I love. My son and I went to the grocery store. I think it was like last weekend. And as we were walking down one of the aisles, I saw these Hershey's cupcakes up on the aisle. And I'm like, man, those look good. But I'm a severe celiac. I can't touch them, So I walked past them, and we're standing a little bit in front of them. And we're looking at stuff in the coolers, right? Oh my gosh. Next thing I know, that box flies off of the shelf and hits me in the back of the head. I mean, not hard, not like to hurt me or anything, but like, here, I know you want them, take them. There was nobody else in the store, you guys. Can you imagine that poor security guard who's pulling up the footage? If he happens to see that, they're going to freak out. They're going to be like, Walmart's haunted. Because there was nobody around. So my son and I both knew what was going on. So we just had a good laugh about it, It didn't bother me. And even a little bit. But it was some of my comical humor for the past couple of weeks. There was something that took place that was also not very good. And it's really hurt my heart. But I've had to deal with it. As you know, I don't have any choice. You got to deal with it, right? So mostly in my room now are healers. Well, now that's all I see are healers. And 3 of the little sillies. But they're in like groups. I'll explain that in just a minute. So there's one cloud guardian who had been with me from the beginning. I called her Betty. That was my nickname for her. I mean, since the cloud guardians first started coming, she had decided, I guess, and I always thought of her as Betty. I don't know if she was a girl. She could have been a boy. But I always thought of her as Betty. And one night, the angelic group and the healing group, I'll tell you all about them too, they pulled her out. And she looked really mad and surprised at first, but then very angry. And one of the guys in the healing group got up in front of my face and started like shouting at me something. And, I don't know if I got it right, but it almost sounded like, almost looked like, 'cause I'm trying to read his lips, and it almost looks like he said it was a setup. I'm not sure that that's what he said. I don't know. I did notice that one of the angelic ones, there's a new angelic one now that comes in that looks a lot like her, which is kind of weird, right? I don't know why. But it's really hurt my heart. I'm not going to lie. It really has. And since then, the big Lyran, the guy, I guess he's a Lyran. That's what he looks like to me, is a Lyran. He's part of the Cloud Guardian group. He came in, and some of the other ones, some of the older guardians that I'd had a long time ago came in. And this was like probably a couple weeks after the Betty incident. And the healing group had a talk with them and pulled them out, sent them out. So I'm guessing the reason why is maybe the healing group only wants to work with me. They don't want any other distractions being there, so that I can continue to work on trying to get, a better energy flow. I think to tell you the truth, I think right now I need to learn how to control the energy. But anyhow, I think that's what's going on. I have not seen Tao. For those of you who know Tao, I nicknamed him Tao for the Ancient One, because he just has this way about him that's almost like very wise, and he was so kind to me. It was always like he would come up to me, and Bruce or Raphael had requested, I guess, that maybe I would draw these in chalk so I could show you the differences. And I did draw Tao, and I spent a lot of time on that, but it's not perfect because I'm not a portrait artist. I can make stuff, I can make cool stuff, but I'm not any good at that. So, but anyhow, I'm going to try to attach it to this video. If not, it might end up in a community post. I've been posting quite a few things in the community page. I don't think anybody's getting notifications for my stuff. I've had some more weird stuff going on, you guys. Especially like, this big exposure project that's going on with Dr. Stephen Greer. He did something really, really smart. He pushed the investigation towards the free energy aspect of things. Okay, it's going to be bad for all these really wealthy people, but it's probably the only way that we're going to have a chance that it truly becomes investigated and these things come to surface. I think that's probably the best angle. I think he really did probably make the best choice to approach it in that way. So now I got to tell you another funny story. Oh my goodness. I have a new little angel. Okay, so right now, mostly what I just have in there are 2 different kinds, maybe 3 different kinds of people. One are the healing group. When I look at the healing group in my room with my regular eyes, they appear like angels. They're the ones that are outlined in the golden white light. Except the supervisor. He's a little bit different. But when I close my eyes, I see them almost floating around in something that is akin to skim milk. It's a very light white, but I can see them, and most of them have dark hair. They actually kind of remind me of the 90s guys who used to be at my window. But they are the healers. And like I said, when I look at them just with my regular eyes, they are the angels that are outlined. Now, there's another group of angels that when I look at them, whether it's with my natural eyes or if it's with my third eye, they look the same. They look very white. I had a very bright angel behind me a couple of nights ago too, when I was doing some healing with the little sillies. I'm not every time I would go look, they would move. So I don't know. It was something different though, because wings. Like I could see wings coming out each side behind me. So anyhow, that was interesting. So we've got the healing group that look like outlined angels when they're seen with a regular eye. We have the regular angels, and we have what I call the little sillies. Now, the little sillies have gotten a ton more interesting lately because there's multiple copies of them. And this is I hate to even tell you this because this has killed me. I mean, it really has. But I think there's some sort of not natural being. I don't think that they are regular beings. I mean, maybe one of the little Sams is, but here's what they do. The healers get them upset. They'll take them and just like fling them to the floor, which then sends them into this this illness. I mean, it makes them very ill. And then that's when I come along and swipe them with love and joy, and I bring them back up out of it. Like I said, I got to work on my on my delivery of this energy, because sometimes it's just too much. I'm too hard on them, I guess, and so it's too much. But there are several copies of each one of them, and that kind of goes along with some of the things that I've found out about how we can live multiple lives, or most of us do apparently have multiple lives going at the same time. Like we would have here on Earth one aspect of us, and then there's aspects of us in other places. I don't know if that's it, or if the little sillies are just something, like I said, non-organic. You know what I'm saying? Like they made them, like they're AI kinds of little beings, because these guys are very loving, and they have to take care of the little sillies. If I'm not there and the little sillies are sick, they're the ones who have to take care of them. So, I mean, I don't ever see them looking mean to them, other than when they're trying to set them off for me to heal them. It bothers me. I gotta be honest, it really does, because, I have such a tender heart, and the idea of anybody hurting somebody else, I mean, I know, but if they're AI robots, I'm going to have to really work on this. I'm going to have to really work on my mindset for this. Okay, so I got to tell you another funny story. This one is, oh my gosh, hilarious. I have a new angel. And this little angel, I'm telling you, I say little because he does seem like he's smaller than some of the other ones. Most of the angels that are white, both in and out, and even the healing ones, they're very, reserved, and I would say, professional. They're very, standoffish. I mean, once in a while, they might do something, but they're very focused on their job, and they're not silly at all. And Tao, one of the things I really loved about him was that he would come up close to me. It was I don't know, it was that connection that you feel. So, like I said, most of the angels are all about business. They have a mission, and they're trying to accomplish their mission. But then I got a new one. And I'm telling you what, this silly little thing has got me wrapped around his finger. I mean, oh my goodness, he is the funniest little thing. I just love him dearly. He puts on the dog mask, right? And at first I didn't know what he was. I thought he was one of the little sillies. And I'm like, I just healed you. Why are you snarling at me? Because every time I would open my eyes, because I can see them a little bit better with my third eye, and I can get them from other places. Like if they're in one of the transportation things, I can get to them and heal them there also. So most of the time I'm doing the healing, I do it through my third eye, because my third eye is wide open. I mean, it's very good. The only problem is that when if I have multiples of them coming in front of me, then I'll lose track of the being that I'm trying to give the energy to. So along comes this silly little every time I would open my eyes, jump. Now wait a minute, didn't I just heal you? Because I thought it was Anna. One of the little sillies. I nicknamed the couple Etta and James for the song Etta James, At Last. Oh, if you've never heard that song, it's a beautiful love song. So I've named them Etta and James. So I thought it was Etta. So I'm I just healed you. Why are you snapping at me? And it was perfectly timed. I'm how in the world? Because it would only be when I wasn't thinking about them that this snapping would go on. Well, I finally saw what it was snapping at me, it was an angel. And he's not like as big as the other ones. And he is so silly. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you some of the stories. But I'm telling you what, he has been absolutely perfect. I'm so glad he's been there, because it's provided a really nice distraction from the whole Betty issue, and sometimes, you're so busy trying to do stuff. I mean, a little bit of joking once in a while is just, it works great for me. I love him. If they ever tried to take him out, well, let me tell you about that, because I did kind of get in a little bit of trouble one night. Okay, yeah, I did get into some trouble one night. So, this little guy, like I said, I've gotten so attached to him. I just can't stand it, because he is so funny. There's so many stories I could tell you about him that it was like he was new, like he was new to being an angel. That's kind of what it seemed like, because even when he's comforting them, it's very different than what the other ones do. Adorable, but just very different. So, one night, I'm working on the little sillies, and there is a portal across my room, right beside the closet. That's where they were sending all the shadow people back out and everybody else back out. Well, a few nights back, this guy comes in through that with my third eye. I actually caught him. And so I kind of, it was like one of those glancing things, because I was busy trying to work on the little sillies. And then all of a sudden, I caught movement. And he had one of the angels by the throat, slamming him up and down. And I think it was my little favorite. Well, Mama Bear activated. I got so mad. Oh, God. No, you don't. No. Stop. I made him stop. So then I just go back to healing, because I'm trying to keep peace. I'm trying to just keep my cool. So I go back to my healing. And then I feel him up here over top of me. I know he's staring at me. You get that feeling. And I knew what he was doing. I knew he was trying to intimidate me. I could feel it. So I just kept my calm, and I looked up at him, and I said, if I have done something that has offended you, that was certainly not my intention. But I do not accept anyone hurting someone else. It will not happen in my presence. My house, my rules. So, if there's some kind of beef you have with someone, it has to be done someplace else, because it cannot be done inside of my house. Well, let me tell you what. I'm telling you what, he was giving me a look. He had this weird expression about him. He looked like, if you guys have ever heard of, I think his name is Dolph Lundgren. He's a famous actor. I think he was in Rocky with Sylvester Stallone. Vaguely, I probably should have looked him up. But that's what he reminded me of, the way that he looked. Short blonde hair. He had on some kind of space-looking suit. Like it was like a fitted, like dark blue. Had some kind of gold around the collar, I think, or yellow. I'm not really sure. It's hard to really tell the colors sometimes. But I could see him pretty clearly. And he just had like this kind of, not good expression. I did not like his expression. Especially when he was tearing down over me, because, I don't cower to anybody. I'm not intimidated. I'm not intimidated, because my fight or flight, I'm not going to run from you. No. So, and, it probably gets me in trouble a lot. But, it's just where I'm not going to let anybody hurt somebody inside my house. And, like I said, especially him. He's the funniest little thing. So, I don't know if maybe maybe that white thing that goes around them, I wondered if maybe that's like kind of like a uniform kind of thing, like maybe it was Dolph's, whatever his name is. Maybe it was his. We'll call him Dolph. Maybe it was Dolph's, and the little angel god took it and decided he was going to come here and have fun and play. If that's what happened, I'm glad for it, because he really has been just lovely to work with. He really has. And so after I said that to him, I turned around, a little attitudey, but I went right back to healing. Like, you're not getting to me. So then 3 of the healers that were in the room grabbed hold of him and took him out. Took him out through the window. You know, they have telepathy, so, you know, who knows what he was thinking about doing. He probably wouldn't have pummeled me. But I wasn't going to let him hurt anybody. You know, it just wasn't going to happen. The little sillies, I'm trying to get over that. I'm trying to get past it, because, you know, it really does kind of, get to me. But anyhow, those are all my funny things for, for this video. I want to tell you guys a couple of other things too. A couple different times I had this flashing strobe light in my room, and I just assumed maybe that was the veil getting thin, because the veil is very thin in my room. I mean, I can see them in the walls, like it's very thin. So I get this strobe light flashing thing. Well, I noticed a couple of nights ago that it came back, and so I tried to figure out like where it was coming from, and it was like 3 different areas of my room, but I think it was a being. I really do. I think it was a being. And I think that probably that being is too high level for me to be able to see him or her. That's my guess, because it was like really bright flashing. So I don't, you know, there's so many different ones. I don't know. So another thing, I started another playlist on the channel for you guys for things that I find that I think might be helpful. One is a video from UAMN TV. It was a gentleman who was giving a talk, and at the end of the talk, there is a photograph that somebody was able to take that looks like a new earth being manifested right like beside our planet. It is wild. I mean, it's a trip. And I forget like what he said as far as like what kind of equipment they used, but they used some kind of special equipment. So that kind of goes into the fact that a new earth is being developed for us. It's being manifested for us. So if there's anything that you can think of that you might like to have as part of a new world, this would probably be a good time to do it. Because one of the things that Stephen Greer said too was something about there was a end of the year deadline. Somebody brought that up in another video, that could mean that sometime between now and, or sometime after the end of the year, or around the end of the year, that would be the time that the new earth would be manifest. And if you remember in the Bible too, there is something in there about a rapture. Like, one person will be here, another one will be gone. And in the Bible, God does say, I'm going to make a new heaven and a new earth. So maybe this is what it is. I don't know. I'm trying not to read too much into it, because if you overthink it, like sometimes I overthink it, you know, and I'm like, oh, wow, you know, this really is a big change that we're about ready to go through. And I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Oh my gosh, isn't it? It is I mean, that's why all these beings are here, why you can photograph them now everywhere, is because they're here to watch us ascend. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Now, I've heard a couple of different things. I've heard that they see us as light beings, so they don't see our like our flesh. All they see is our light. And you know what? I like that. And I'm going to tell you why I like it. Because sometimes they're in my bathroom. They're in, it's like no privacy whatsoever. So I kind of hope that's the way it is. Now, when we go to the new earth, I understand that our bodies will be healed as we're transitioning to this new earth. And there are some apparently who are going to be at higher levels than just the 5D. So some will go on beyond the fifth dimension. And I don't know if that'll happen right away or if that'll happen, sometime after. Now, I've heard that everyone is getting these activation codes, so everyone's going to have an opportunity to be a part of the new world. But I don't know that that's true either. I've also heard that if you don't do anything, if you're a rotten human and selfish and you're not thinking about other people, then you're going to be stuck here in this dimension. And I've heard a couple of different things, but it seems like, you really have to be a turd bucket. I hate to say it that way, but you really have to be like a very bad human in order to get stuck here. They're going to be giving, I guess, a lot of people, a lot of chances. And speaking of giving a lot of people, they are apparently still giving out skills. So if you are someone that you think you might like to have a healing ability, you might like to have telepathy, I don't know what else. This is, I don't know what else. Maybe, I don't know, some sort of remote viewing, or, you can ask. This would be the time to sit down, meditate, and ask them for this. And I would film, find out where they are, and I would try to say it loud enough for those around to hear, because they're going to be giving us these different gifts. And I'm thinking that's why they're having me do all of this healing and stuff. I hope they heal me. You hear how hoarse I am today? I just had a sore throat off and on now for a couple of weeks, and it's starting to annoy me. So in that meditation, in that new meditation playlist that I put up, there are also, I put in a couple of other things, like the 117 hertz. That sound you can meditate to. It was also in the King's Chamber. Oh my gosh, that thing is rocking. When I put that on and meditate, the power, the energy I feel in my body is off the hook. So try it. If you meditate, or if you ever have wanted to try meditating, I would try that. Also, I put a really good Reiki healer in there. His name is Michael. His channel is Healing and Beyond. And wonderful. I can't tell you all the good things that have come out of me using some of his videos. One of them, I had a sore throat, so I thought I'll, use that to see if I can feel better. And sure enough, it made my throat feel better, but it was for unblocking that chakra so that you could speak your mind. I didn't even know I had anything to say, but I did. And that was a trip. I most definitely did. So I had to do that. And it really worked. It was something else. So, I also am going to put, if I don't put that picture of towel that I'd made, if I don't put it in with the video, like I said, check the community post, because it might be in there, because I don't really know, how all this is going to transpire. So anytime I find anything, I'm going to put it into the meditation list for you guys, the meditation playlist. If I find anything that I think is helpful, I just keep getting all of these different perspectives. Even people who are saying that they're channeling these different high-level beings, they're saying different things. So I don't really know for sure what's going to happen. And I know that whenever we're faced with change, that's when our anxiety gets up a little bit. But I think here's the most important thing to remember is that even though, yeah, this is going to be like a huge change, off the charts, huge, we're safe. You know, these people fully realize that when we show up on this new planet, we're going to be scared, you know, because we're going to be completely moved to a new planet. And I think that we need to start thinking in those terms so that it won't be quite so much of a shock. You guys know I will always be here for you. And whatever happens, if it comes about that, you know, we end up initially in a large group or whatever, find me. You know, come find me. We're going to be fine. We really are. And another thing that came up in the Bible was that you will live in houses that you build with your own hands. I love that. I really, really love that. When I've been looking at building the cabin, I'm going to put it off. I'm putting off building the cabin because I'm not going to put all that energy and effort into it and then have this major change happen, and we're not even on the same planet. You know, so I'm gonna put barbed wire fence up just so that the bear doesn't eat me when I go up there to visit, because I love the property, but I don't think I'm going to be doing any building on that property right now. But one of the building methods that I looked at was something called cob. This stuff is amazing, and as soon as I read that, it reminded me of cob, because all it is a mixture of clay soil, straw, and sand. And basically you hand sculpt. It's beautiful. I mean, it really is. You can't get it wet though. That's the only downside. And make sure you have a really good roof on it. But when I read that in the Bible, I couldn't help thinking about cob and how good it is to build with. But these are, you know, these are beautiful things. And like I said, you know that when this happens, when we first go through this transition into the new world, they are going to be there to support us. All of these people that you're seeing all over the place, they're going to be there to help us because they know, and they are so amazing and kind and patient. I mean, I'm a great testament to their patience, you know, because it takes me a while to get stuff, you know, to figure out what in the world they're doing or they want to do or this or that, you know. And I think back to the time when I got aggravated with them, and I'm like, why aren't you healing your people? And now I really feel bad about that, because I know why they weren't healing their people. It was because they wanted me to do it. They wanted me to learn how to do it. And now they've got me like on speed. I mean, it's crazy. I'm trying to heal these people fast now. So I don't know if at some point that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to heal people really, really quickly. So maybe they're training me for that. Healing Olympics or something. I mean, I don't know. So you guys just keep on watching, looking around, seeing what's around you. I can't go anywhere without company, which is funny to me. It's adorable. It doesn't bother me a bit. And the whole incident in Walmart, I mean, Logan and I are going to howl in laughter for probably the next 5 years over that. Just thinking about the poor security guard that happens to see. Like, nobody was in the aisle, and it literally jumped off the shelf. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go pick up my son. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.